It's Barbara. It's cool outside, but it's not as chilly as yesterday. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. It is Wednesday. I didn't have my glasses on when I looked at the gizmo. This 12th, I think, perhaps? I don't know. It's all right. You know, it was on the name of the video when you clicked on it. I hope you are all well. Well, I had a tiny bit of a scare yesterday because I called the parents at 5:30 and nobody answered their phone. Then I called at 7:30 and nobody answered their phone. So I called the front desk and said, my parents aren't answering their phone. They're in quarantine, and they're not answering their phone. Can you please send somebody to check on them? And she said, oh, well, they're not on quarantine anymore. They came down here for dinner, but I don't see them in the dining room. They should be there, but I'll send somebody. I said, okay, thanks. And then I tried again, and my dad answered. So my parents are out of quarantine. They had negative tests, and they were able to eat their dinner in the dining room. I'm hoping that they have some level of immunity now that they've been sick and recovered. At least for a little while would be nice. And so they were out in the land of the living again, and they were very happy to be out of their apartment. And they're like, oh, we're going to walk up and down the hall. I'm like, good, you should do that, because of course they haven't been allowed out of their room. So they couldn't even walk up and down the hall for a little exercise. Oh, their apartment. They have a 2-room apartment. 2.5. The kitchen's kind of a half. They have a kitchen and a living room and a bedroom and a nice big bathroom. But anyway, so they were out and about a little bit yesterday and enjoying that. So that was good. So I was a little concerned. But, I mean, they're often very hard to get a hold of, but that's usually because they turn off their phone. They take a lot of naps, and they turn their phone off when I've complained to you about this before, when they nap, and then they forget to turn it back on. But luckily, they have a fancy TV that tells them who's calling them. I guess they get their phone service through their cable company, too. And so, you know, when I call, my name comes up even when the phone is off, so then they call me back. Anyway, they're doing very well, and I do sincerely appreciate all the good wishes you've sent their way, because I'm sure all the positive energy in the universe helps. I'm quite sure. So I am counting on some natural immunity for a little while at least, because I called and they're not restricting visitation at all. They've got COVID in the building. I don't know what to do. So I'm hoping that their natural immunity will help them for a little while anyway. So that's the good news. Good news. They're out and about, feeling chipper. So that was good. Yesterday, Aura's thing got canceled, so I did not drive her in the cold weather, and it wasn't as cold. It got to 21 here. It was not 18. So that was not truth in advertising. Bait and switch. But anyway, we got up to 21. So she stayed in nice and cozy. And but we stopped by after we walked the dogs just to put our eyeballs on her, check her out, and bring her some dishwasher soap. She was about ready to run her dishwasher and found out she had no soap. So we brought her some and checked on her, made sure she was okay. And she was quite perky and cheerful, so that's good. So, all good news here. All good news. I worked on Dennis's hat. It's coming right along. I started to get a headache. I think I have got to find an eye doctor, although who wants to have their eye doctor's face right in front of their face during COVID? I don't know. Maybe I'll get... My glasses that I bought hurt my head behind my ears. They're too stiff and they go in a little too much, and I feel like they're putting a crease in my head. And I'll see what these are. Maybe they aren't strong enough. Maybe they're too strong. I don't know. But I ended up with a little bit of a headache that I attributed to my eyes last night, so I stopped knitting a little earlier than I would have otherwise. But Dennis's hat is coming right along. It'll be finished by tomorrow night, for sure. So I did have a look around my shawl patterns, and I haven't settled on anything yet, but and I did order more of the picket twine colorway in sock yarn, one for me and one for you. I'm not in love with the base because it's a 70% merino, 30% nylon, which is, in my heart, I really like a 80-10, 80-20. But with my socks starting to wear out, a little more nylon is actually appreciated. So, you know, my 75-25s I'm liking a lot better than I did before. But this is a 70-30. I don't know how warm that will be, but it will be beautiful. Weird. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I should have done a swatch of that yarn before I bought more. But anyway. So I'm going to have some wild socks, and one of you will have wild socks too. Or whatever you want to make out of it. So I did that yesterday. So otherwise, not too much. I got something in my eye. Trying to think what else I did. Oh, I peeled citrus fruit. Dennis went shopping at the health food, store that he gets his milk, because he made some paneer yesterday, and he's going to be making yogurt. I think he's making another paneer today, and yogurt, because I use the paneer for my crackers, and we were out. So I'd like to have some in the freezer, even though I have crackers. So he bought some citrus fruit because the tonic water that he's been making me uses grapefruit peel and lemon and lime peel in the tonic water. And the tonic water he had made me did not have grapefruit peel because we didn't have grapefruits, but it had orange. And we happened to have oranges because I forget why. Oh, Christy was here. We bought oranges because Christy was here and she wanted oranges, and she didn't eat all the oranges. And we forgot to send them home with her. So we had oranges. So he used orange peel and lemon and lime. So yesterday he bought He bought grapefruits, 2 grapefruits. The grapefruits were $2.50 a piece. I said, did you buy them? He said, yeah, I bought them. I'm making you that tonic. I'm like, okay. Keeping in mind we don't eat the fruit, we just eat the peel. $2.50. Yeah. So, people are talking about inflation. Well, and in fact, I had seen like a news report about, mentioning inflation. And I said, I haven't really, felt the inflation so strongly. People were saying inflation was their top concern, and a lower percentage were saying COVID was. And I'm like, COVID's my top concern. I'm not really feeling the inflation quite so much. And I said, but it could be because I don't shop very much. And Dennis is like, yeah, that's exactly it. You don't shop very much. And And then he comes home with $2.50 grapefruits. I'm like, okay, there you go. There's inflation. I'm like, people aren't, you know. Of course, this is organic, you know, from the health food store. Or the, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's a market, you know, but it's all organic and, you know. So that was crazy. And he was making me more vermouth, and the vermouth takes oranges, and the oranges were $2 a piece. Takes orange zest. So we're using the peels of these fruits. I use the lemon in my drinks and the limes, so. We're using the absolute whole lemon and whole lime. But we're only, anyway, inflation. Crazy. Well, I've noticed, of course, gas and stuff, but that goes up and down. Anyway. So I peeled a lot of fruit yesterday, or zested and that kind of stuff. Because, of course, you don't use the whole peel. You just use the colored part on the outside. The white, pithy part is bitter. So that's what I did. That was one thing I did. I didn't do very much, I have to admit. But, you know, I'm retired. And I was all geared up to, you know, go out with Aura, so I had to change my, you know, my way of thinking about my day, which was relatively easy to do. It's like, oh, I don't have to go out in the 18-degree weather, which turned to be 21. I don't ever do very much. I don't know why I talk about it like it's something unusual. But I did knit. I did work. Oh, and I did a lot of searching for shawl patterns. I actually printed out a few. Let me get them. This will be a long. Oh yeah, I also printed out the Mercury socks. That's what I'm going to make my gorgeous Benta Arctic Crafts yarn into by Kim McKenzie. So I didn't print this one in color. I'm really thinking about this, except it's a free pattern. This is the pattern. And my first reading of it, I did not understand. So I'm not sure. And it's not in color. But it's a very, very long Mobius infinity cowl. And you can't really see the pattern at the top, but it's got a little chevron-y thing, yeah, you can, down the side. And it's called Pippin. It's free. Woolness Design, WOOLNESS Designs, Michaela Schmidt Forster. Anyway, and they have it draped over the head, they have it draped around, they have it long. I mean, it's kind of, the way they wear it was really cool. And I thought, and Mobiuses are cool, so I was thinking about that, but we'll see. And the other one I printed out is called Chimera. And I thought that was pretty. Quimera by Emily Alves, Amelia Alves. And it's very pretty, and it's a row by row pattern, which is interesting. It does have a little, oh no, that's the other one. There's no chart. Well, it's a free pattern, so she probably doesn't need a chart. And so why would she make me a chart? I can make my own chart if I need a chart. Anyway, so those are a couple. And, and pulled the pattern and I didn't print it for some, I think it's called the long tube or something like that. So it's like a cowl, but it's so long it comes down like a tunic, but it goes over your arm. So I'm not sure what you know, that's just like I'm freezing to death. Let me just cocoon, I guess. Anyway, it was pretty cool. And I'll look it up and put it down here. But I think it was called the long tube or something like that. Anyway, I'm not thinking I'll do that one. Unless I see, I think she has some videos, unless I see a video of how to wear it that has a lot of things that look like I would want to do that. But anyway, so that's what I did yesterday. I mean, and you can go down that rabbit hole looking for a pattern. You could spend 2 hours doing that and still come up with no pattern and have a good time. And it's very enjoyable. Am I right? So that's how I spent my day yesterday. Today we'll be walking the dogs again. And I have no idea what else. I'll work on Dennis's hat. And I don't know, maybe I'll start my Mercury socks. It's a lace pattern. And I think it'll be pretty in that beautiful yarn that Valerie gave me, that Benta. So there they are. So it's a lace pattern. But it's going to have an afterthought heel. So it can't be too afterthoughty because you don't cut an afterthought heel into lace. For sure. So I think I'm just going to do the leg part and maybe not even the foot, maybe just the leg. We'll see. Anyway, I have time to think about that too. All right, so now I'm talking way too long. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it so much, I cannot tell you. Please, please be careful. Take good care of yourselves. Stay safe and stay sane.